fellow Cavaliers, everyone in this room, good evening.
Good evening.
Today I'm going to talk about the Marvel Man. Now everyone, and I mean everyone knows who's the Marvel Man, right? If anyone knows, guesses, answer.
Stanley.
What?
Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley, exactly. So Stanley, I'm going to be talking about Stanley. Stanley was an American comic book writer, publisher, producer, editor, and he was a legend in general. He was responsible for the formation of most of these characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Kingpin, Daredevil, Punisher, and so many more. The X-Men, Avengers, everyone in Marvel. He was responsible for the formation of all these characters. He even got help from co-creators like Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and so many other people. So he was born in December 18th, 1922, and he was born in New York, Manhattan. He was born in a Jewish family. His father's name was Jack Leiber, and his mother's name was Celia Solomon. His father was extremely trained dress cutter, and he worked sporadically after the Great Depression. His mother was just a housemaker. He also had a younger brother known as Larry Leiber, and he and his younger brother were very close during their childhood. Stanley always told that when he was a kid, he used to be inspired by these comic books and these movies where the main protagonist is a superhero fighting these supervillains. In the 40s, 42, he actually joined up the army, the US Army, and he was part of a US war veteran organization known as the Signal Corps. He was not in the combat, he was not like doing any firing or anything, he was not that kind of a person, he was not a commander or anything, he was just a person who was supposed to repair communication equipment. In 1942 exactly, he got hired by the comics, which is known as Timely Comics, as an editor. He was just assistant editor actually, and he was just a person. He was just a person who would edit these mistakes in these comic books, like in these juxtaposed panels. If there are any mistakes in the words, he would be the person to edit them. And in that same year, because of the work that he was doing as an editorial assistant, he got promoted to an editor. And during these 40s and 50s, he started doing his own comic book series actually when he was an editor. He started doing comic book series for characters like Jack Frost, Black Marvel, The Wizard. All these characters are not known now, they were really popular back in the 50s and 40s. And then in 1961 is when he did a major step up. He created the first Marvel team known as the Fantastic Four. It was created with the help of a co-creator known as Jack Kirby. And when they created this in 1961, it made a huge impact in the comic book industry. It was a huge hit. It made Stan Lee and it made Atlas Comics really popular. Atlas Comics was the name of Marvel Comics back in the 60s. And then the very next year in 1962, he introduced the superhero that all of us know about, Spider-Man, with the help of another co-creator known as Steve Ditko, who sadly died in 2018, the same year as Stan Lee died, in New York City. And everyone knows about Spider-Man. He's a nerdy teenager who got bit by a radioactive spider and got all these powers. And that same year, he made another superhero known as the Incredible Hulk. That also made him popular once more. And then the very next year, he introduced a second Marvel team known as X-Men. X-Men was the biggest Marvel team actually in its original form in the comic books. It's the biggest Marvel team. It has over like 75 or 85 members. Right now it has more than 1,000 members. There are so many members in X-Men. And the comic book had like some racial elements in it. So the first comic book series which actually had some racial elements in it, like there's like racism between humans and mutants. And unlike these other superheroes where they just acquire powers like the Fantastic Four, for example, they acquired their powers. They were like 4 astronauts. They went to space and they got their powers due to this accident in outer space. And Spider-Man, he was bit by a spider. And Banner, who was Incredible Hulk, he got affected by the radiation and he became Hulk. Except these mutants, these members of the X-Men, like for example, let's take the most popular X-Men, Wolverine. he was born with these bone claws. It's just right after an incident he got these adamantium claws actually. And then after all this work, Stan Lee was really popular. And then in 1999, he started his own thing called the Stan Lee Media. It's like an entertainment company which is built around his creations, and that also made him popular once more. And then until that time, he had been working for like 60 years for Marvel. And then because of the amazing work he was doing, he was promoted to an chairman. He was chairman of Marvel. So from there onwards, whatever Marvel was doing, it was all under his command. He was basically the leader of Marvel. He had the leadership. And in the same year, Stan Lee and his firm, they also introduced another online series known as the Seventh Porter. In this online series, it's like it's a very underrated online series. In this online series, it's like where aliens, they come from like the seventh portal from outer space and they land in Earth. It's just the story about that. And now it's not functional. And then in 2008, he got many of these. He got a Medal of Arts in the U.S. and he also won a medal from President Bush, who was a former president in the U.S. Even though Stan Lee passed away, he bid the world goodbye sadly in November 12th, 2018. Even though Stan Lee passed away, he's still going to be in the hearts and minds of hardcore comic book fans. Thank you.